wow, has it been a long time since I last uploaded, or at least uploaded to speedpaint. Didn't mean for that to happen, oops. Fun fact, I have actually like completely edited 2 other speed paints besides this one. They're like completely ready to go. They just don't have a voiceover. I guess they don't have a thumbnail either if you want to get into technicalities, but I kind of bled myself dry, I'll admit it. I posted one 10-minute speed paint, and that was all of the thoughts I've ever had in my entire life. It's a shame, really, that they could be summed up in such a short video, but it's true. Oh well. No, but seriously, I like had no clue what I was going to talk about. But good news, I found something to at least fill up 5 minutes of this speed paint. That's good. So, what y'all are seeing me very slowly create in the background was my final art project for this semester, and I'm gonna let y'all in on a tiny clue, a little hint that might enlighten you, might shed some understanding onto my process. I want you to guess how long this whole thing took me. Yep, no higher than that. A little bit more. Yeah, 24 hours. 24 hours and 34 minutes. And that was just what Procreate tracked. When I was creating like the rough sketch before I finalized it back in Procreate, I was using Clip Studio on the computer. So that's probably like an hour or an hour and a half, depending on how distracted I got, lost in the ether somewhere. So we're just gonna round it up to make it a clean 25 and a half hours, because that's cleaner than 24, obviously. Okay, the way that these projects were set up, I had 3 to do during the whole semester, right? But they were assigned closer to the end of the semester, really. So the way that they were set up, I had 2 weeks between each project, right? So my first project was 2 weeks between that and the second one. Second project, 2 weeks between that and the third. And the third project was due 2 weeks after it was assigned. I spent the first week for this project doing nothing. Just kind of sitting and staring at a piece of paper in front of me. I knew that I wanted to do something digital, and that's all I knew, really. I had no clue. So I tried everything. I listened to instrumentals and like jotted down ideas that came to mind when I was listening to them. I went on a walk while listening to more emotional, I would say, instrumentals, stuff that makes you feel more storytelling feeling stuff, if that makes sense. I asked my little sister for ideas, I asked my mom for ideas, I asked my art teacher for ideas, I asked my art friend for ideas. None of it was really... All of the ideas held some sort of water, right? But none of them were a bucket. But honestly, from the get-go, I had wanted to do something with myself and the background just being abstractions of things that I love, because my hyperfixations mean a lot to me. Obviously, I'm hyperfixated on them, doy. But, anyway, I asked my art teacher for ideas, and he was like, okay, you want to do something with bits of yourself in it, because that's the information that I gave him about it. And he was like, you could, try to include something that you love. And he was giving real generic, like, umbrella terms for what I could do, probably because he didn't want to, like, restrict me in my creative process. I think, especially because it's an independent art class, I think he really wanted me to try and push myself to think of something. But for some reason, just hearing him say maybe put stuff that you like in the background, even though that's an idea that I had had for at least a week, for some reason it fell into place there. And I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't honestly a little frustrated by that, because that was something that I very much so wanted to do. It's something that I've been thinking about since honestly I first learned that I would have to do these projects. But there was some roadblock that was keeping me from imagining what it could really look like or how I could get there. And I'm not kidding you, almost everybody else I got advice from, said the same thing to me. Because I told them what I wanted, and they were like, well, you could do this. And I was like, I thought of that, I don't think it'll work. My art teacher didn't even know I wanted to do that. He didn't even say it. And for some reason that helped? What? I mean, beggars can't be choosers, but what? Anyway, while I was brainstorming what I could do with the background, I desperately wanted to have the background resemble something from the Adventure Zone, just because this past year has been one of the hardest that I've had the pleasure of living through personally. It's been a not great year for me, and I discovered the Adventure Zone this year, and it's corny to say, and everybody says it when they find something they love, but it genuinely helped me through some really upsetting times. And I both wanted to thank it and to honestly just kind of hide it somewhere where no one else would even know it was there. I don't know, it felt like it was a nice secret between me and myself. Anyway, the circles, the swirls, specifically the one that has the eyes that's close to the sleeves, initially I was thinking that would be the Shield of Remembrance, I believe it's called. It's the shield that Magnus got before Crystal Kingdom, where, you know, if he battles anything, the shield remembers and he has advantages against defense against those things. I just really like that concept, and I thought it would be really cool because it would give me more spaces to shove Taz Easter eggs into the mix. They didn't really pan out that way. I thought just having regular swirls was pretty enough. I don't know. I kind of like having the metallic golden swirls. I really like that aesthetic. So I kept them plain. Besides, after I had finished shading the one swirl with the eyes in it, that took me a considerable amount of time, and I wasn't down to add more colors to that one, so I called it good. You'll notice that I have all of these scars across my shoulders and my back and some of my neck and my face. I have those in real life from just picking at my skin. It's a nasty habit, and I need to break it. I desperately need to, but I like drawing my scars. I don't know. It makes me feel good, and I like it. So while I was brainstorming, I had this idea that I could turn all of the scars on my back into eyes, like they were a part of the hunger, which is the purple in the background. That also didn't pan out just because I couldn't really see how that would mesh with this particular piece. That might be something that I do in the future. I just thought it would be a cool, I don't know if motif is the right word, but just like the monster inside of me is crawling out because of my own self-given destruction, if that makes sense. I don't know. It was dumb. The turquoise in the bottom left corner, that's the void fish, my baby. That's Fisher. Oh my gosh, I was so hyped. You don't understand. Fisher was like, I was so ready to work on him because I had these beautiful neon blues and purples and yellows just lined up in my head ready to go. And to be fair, I used those colors 100%, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of had a fun time coloring him. But somewhere along the way, my brain was like, what if we made this jellyfish looking guy look like an 80s arcade carpet? And I went with it, and it added probably at least 2 hours to the drawing, if I'm being honest, but I think it was worth it. Oh my goodness. I love Fisher a lot, and I really, really enjoyed drawing him. Again, while I was brainstorming, I was like, I could have all of these stars and shapes in his balloon bit, and I was like, and I could hide some of the Hunger's eyes in there, just for, to tie it all in, just to, the voidfish knew what the hunger was all along, because the voidfish can't forget. And it kind of evolved from there. I just did more shapes, and I added eyes on the underside of the tentacles, and some on the top side, to be fair. I still kept the eyes on the balloon bit. I don't know what you call that on a jellyfish. I'm gonna keep calling it the balloon bit. Sorry. But yeah, even though it was almost the most taxing bit of this drawing, I genuinely really enjoyed coloring Fisher. I think it was one of my favorite parts. Him and the hunger were such a joy to shade. the reddish pink thing in the background, that is a double-sided bird, because I saw 7 birds, get it? It's for the IPRE. And again, I thought that maybe I would throw in shapes of all of the different cycles that they went through, kind of symbols. But it didn't fill up enough space for me. I couldn't figure out a way to make that a continuous but alternating pattern. So I genuinely just threw shapes and lines and squiggles onto it. And I was like, well, you know what? At least I'm going to keep the colors red and metallic, and you can tell that this bird is actually metal. I'm going to give you a spoiler alert right now. I didn't do that. This bird is rainbow and not metal at all. But you live and learn. Oh well. I don't know. And finally, the overall pink in the background is the pink tourmaline from Crystal Kingdom. Again, kind of lost the plot with that one. That turned rainbow as well. I wanted that to stay like various shades of pink from neon to dull, just kind of sprinkled around. That didn't end up happening at all. Still like the finished piece though. And for the halo around my neck, I actually wrote myself a little note while I was creating the first sketch. I wrote, and I quote, something about religion going for the throat using scare tactics. And I think that about covers it. No, but I was gonna have, you know how typically angel halos, if they have light spikes, they have them pointing out. I was gonna draw them pointing in. Religion going for the throat. You know, all that cool stuff I just said. Wow, I'm such a poet. But once I finished the background and I did the shading on myself, I didn't want to look at this anymore. I was done. I didn't have it in me to put this glowing effect and these cool light spikes jabbing into my throat. I couldn't. I genuinely just couldn't do it. So I left that in the dust. It's there in my heart though. It lives on in spirit, and I think that's all that oh my gosh, it lives on in spirit. Religion joke. Haha. Sorry for speed running my thought process. I don't know why I rapid fired them so quickly like that, but if I'm honest, it took me, how long? 6 months? 4 months? I don't know. To even record this one. I'm not doing it over. I love you guys very much, and I'm sorry, but y'all are gonna have to deal with this one. I don't know what to tell you. And only because I love bragging, I got 100% on this project, and my art teacher even said that he thought it was super, super good, and that he could see this as college-level work, and even told me that it looks like something that would come from my dream college. Are you kidding me? So, that meant a lot to me. That was really sweet of him. He didn't have to say that, but he did. So that's what I've been up to these last couple months. And I still don't have a script or an outro, so I'm just gonna cut the video here. Bye!